Hello friends. I wanted to tell you a story. Well, first let me share what happened on Saturday night, Sunday morning. I went to bed Saturday night, finally fell asleep, and I was sleeping rather nicely when I was abruptly woken up a little after midnight Sunday morning, and I was woken up by very loud, ferocious barking. And as I woke up, my eyes were closed. I was waking up at the time, but I know Prairie tried to jump through the window. Oh, hello, Tiger. Hello, Tiger. You see Tiger? Yeah, you see Tiger. See Tiger? Yeah, there's Tiger. There's Tiger. Well, Prairie was going ballistic. Absolutely ballistic. Now, it's not the first time she's behaved this way. She's behaved this way a few other times. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, I know there's something out there. It could be a predator. It could be an illegal. They do come through here. I usually never know. It's usually a guess. Occasionally there'll be, I'll hear something, like coyotes, or one time I heard a growl, which I believe was a bear. And so I have an idea of what might be out there. But there's a lot of times I honestly have no clue what's out there. Totally clueless. What I normally do when Prairie wakes me up going ballistic like that is I will put her out on the tether. That way she can bark, but she can't chase what's ever there, because I am afraid that she's getting older. She has chased off coyotes when she was in foster home. She chased a coyote all by herself. She chased a coyote off the land, and her foster family did have goats and horses and other livestock. So I know she would, if she could, she would chase it. And that, in some instances, that could be lethal. And so I always tether her. And my thinking is that between her barking and Sarah and Houston barking, 3 dogs, all very loud, in 3 different locations, is going to convince what's ever out there that they need to mosey on, that this probably isn't a good spot for them to hang out. And so normally what happens is I, put her on the tether, let her bark for a while, and she usually goes to the bathroom, takes care of that kind of stuff. And then after a while, things calm down and she wants in, and we all go to bed and go to sleep, and that's the end of it. That's not what happened Sunday morning. She was going berserk, absolutely berserk. And so I grabbed onto her collar, and it really took, if she could have gotten away from me, she would have. I had trouble holding on to her. She wanted out. But I held on to her, and I put her on the tether, and she flew down the stairs. She did not run down the stairs. She flew down the stairs. And the second she flew down the stairs, I knew what the issue was. I heard a rattlesnake. And once you've heard a rattlesnake, you will never forget that sound. Now, this is after midnight, so it's dark out here. I instantly was terrified because Prairie was charging at this snake. And let me show you where that snake was. Okay, here's the stairs that Prairie came down, and the snake was right here. It was about 1 yard in length, and I had turned on the porch light. See, I've got some porch lights right there. So I had a little bit of light, and I had my flashlight, and I started screaming at Prairie, who was, the tire was about here, and I mean, she was barking and lunging, and I was trying to keep her away from the snake. And all I could find was this thing right here. And I kind of tried to throw it at the snake, but it really didn't do much. I really needed a hoe. There's so much rock around here. I mean, there's just rock everywhere. There's sheets of rock. So I can't really use a shotgun or anything of that nature because it'll just bounce back and hit me. So, I want that snake either dead or away. Well, when I hit it with I can't think of what this is called right now. It's for getting rid of grass and weeds and stuff. Well, at some point, I don't remember if it was before or after it had coiled. It was all coiled up just there. But after I hit it, I know it started moving towards, going underneath the house over here. So it was getting away from us. But I'm trying to keep Prairie away and, keep both of us safe. Thankfully, finally, the snake went underneath the house, and I was able to get a leash. I always have a leash by the back, the doors. By the back, both doors, right next to them, I keep a leash. And so I was finally able to get Prairie on a leash, and I held her really, I held that leash very close to the collar, so I had total control over that dog and got her in the house. And thankfully, she went to the bathroom before that so that I knew she wouldn't want to go out again because I wasn't going outside again until the sun came up. And then, we went to bed. My blood pressure was through the roof. Stressed, anxiety, I got Prairie to protect me, but I don't want her to die. I don't want her getting bit by a rattlesnake or killed by anything. I want her to die of old age. And so that really, the fear of that she might get bit by a rattlesnake was, I didn't think I would because I was keeping my distance. I was trying to be safe. But dogs are a different story. But thankfully, we both got in the house. Took me several hours, finally got to sleep. I didn't sleep very well that night period. I was so tired all day Sunday. Once the sun came up in the morning, I walked all the areas that I would know. The goat areas, the chicken areas, the duck areas. I walked rabbits. Rattlesnakes love rabbits, so I checked out the rabbit. Never found the rattlesnake. But on the other side of the fence, you can't really see it because of the sun. But on the other side, where the chicken coop is, the chickens were out, and when I was walking around, I thought I heard a rattlesnake, the rattles over here by the coop. And on the other side of the, there's a fence there, and there's the cedar trees, and over here there's just brush. And that is perfect, wonderful rattlesnake habitat. Habitat for any snake. I know they're in there. I have seen rattlesnakes and other snakes going in and out of there. I know they're there. So I'm thinking that maybe one of the chickens walking around may have triggered the rattlesnake to warn. And it can get right through the fence, no problem. So I'm assuming it went in there. And hopefully it kept on going. It just kept on going and is gone. That's my hope. I haven't seen the rattlesnake since. And believe me, I've been keeping my eyes open. Well, I want to share two stories. One is, on Monday, I went to get feed for everybody. And in my Facebook comments, or memories, popped up a story from last year. Okay, this is my rabbit colony building. And according to my Facebook memories, 1 year ago, on Monday, literally, 12 months and 1 day apart, I came in here. I had a whole bunch of rabbits in here, and I came in here. Well, I was walking from that direction, coming here, and I suddenly heard a rattlesnake. So, of course, I froze. I looked inside here. I did not see a rattlesnake. I walked all the way around the building. I did not see a rattlesnake, but I could hear the rattlesnake. I could hear it from this corner over here, underneath. And so you can imagine that I had wall-to-wall nesting boxes. There were 3 of these big nesting boxes and this one in between. I started slowly pulling them out. Terrified, of course, because I'm hearing a rattlesnake and there's rabbits running around, and rabbit is a rattlesnake's favorite food, what I've been told. And honestly, since getting the rabbits until Sunday, every rattlesnake I ever saw was near the rabbits. 100% of them. So this past Sunday was an anomaly. But I finally pulled out the rattlesnake, the nesting box, and right in that corner was a small rattlesnake. Now, the one on Sunday, that was a yard long. This one wasn't as long. Well, I keep a hoe, this hoe right here. I keep around here to clean this out. And I've never cleaned it out. I need to clean this out. I need to totally clean this out. But I used that and I managed to kill the rattlesnake. So that, is a warning. This time of year, the rattlesnakes are out and we all got to be careful. Let me lock this door again. I've just used, everything's so warped I can't even fasten this. So I have to use things like that. Well, and this isn't exactly the size of a bull I need. Right there. I've been wondering where that was. I knew I had bulls that size. Just didn't know where it was. Okay, so that happened a year ago on Monday. And then Sunday, this past Sunday, I had a rattlesnake by the front door. The events of Sunday morning, dealing with that rattlesnake, later I remembered a story. When me and my ranch hand went to buy this Sarah here and her brother Abraham, the people we bought the puppies from, they had goats and they had llamas and chickens and some other critters. They had a ranch, dairy goats and everything. So, but they had llamas and livestock guardian dogs. Now, there are people who prefer llamas. They'll have only llamas as a guardian. And then there's a lot of controversy as to whether they make good livestock guardians. And in some instances, I know of a herd of goats that is right on the outskirts of town, right next to the public school, in fact. Fence isn't very good. Fence would not keep any dog, in, period. And so a dog there makes no sense because it'd be running all the time. And if it bit somebody, that would be a liability. They have a llama. They have a single llama with their goat herd. So there is a place for llamas as guardians, livestock guardians. Well, the story that this couple shared, or it was actually the husband shared, was a time when a bull snake came into the goat paddock. Now, if you're not familiar with bull snakes, they look a lot like rattlesnakes. But they actually eat rattlesnakes, and they're a good snake. But still, a lot of people confuse them. And of course, they are a snake, and so they could be considered a threat to a dog. Well, what happened when that bull snake came into the paddock, apparently, is that the llamas, and they had a bunch of them, stood guard around the goats. The llamas protected the goats, would not let the goats meander wherever they wanted to go, kept the goats in a circle, protected them. The dogs, all the Pyrenees, went and dealt with the threat. And so, within a very short amount of time, the dogs killed the bull snake, and the llamas kept the goats safe. And I found it interesting how they segregated their jobs. The llamas did not go after the snake. The dogs did. But the llamas protected. And so if you've ever been thinking about having, getting llamas, maybe your situation is such that a dog isn't right, but you need some kind of guardian, you might want to look into llamas, because they do occasionally help, but there's also a place of having both kinds. And I just thought that was very, very interesting, how they, they each had their own job, and they obviously didn't discuss it. It was instinctual. So I just wanted to share that interesting story, and, plus what happened on Sunday and what happened a year ago. Folks, if you're in the country, it's rattlesnake season. They're out. I know a few other channels have dealt with rattlesnakes lately. They are out there, and we got to all be safe. I've had my eyes wide open lately. Not taking any chances here. I'm really not in the mood to go on a helicopter ride to a hospital. Not something I want to do. So be careful, and I'm going to be careful, and I just wanted to share that story with you. So thanks for listening, and you have a wonderful day.